So yeah, I'll just read a post on Reddit and then kind of talk about my insight and what I want to add to the conversation. But I guess the point of this is to kind of bring a voice to things that get overlooked. And that's why I'm trying to read somebody else's words here instead of mine this time. Is because these things just get overlooked and it just breaks my heart. It's just tragic. I'll start reading and start talking. So the original post is feeling really sad, how can I stop? I think about animals and I get sad. I talk to my family about animals, I get sad. I can't speak up for animals without crying, stuttering, or my voice shaking. It's all so sad. I haven't watched or read about factory farms since I started about 6 years ago, and I keep seeing so many perfect moments in my life or online where I could offer some beautiful or absolutely devastating fact or tidbit. But I can't stop myself from feeling just so upset about reality. I end up crying thinking about animals often. My girlfriend says she loves my empathy. She's 1 year vegan. But for me, it is really exhausting. I'm just reading off a site looking to be a better activist and I just cry and cry and cry. How does anybody control this? How can I stop crying at roadkill because I can't imagine how they must have felt in their last moments? How can I stop sobbing when my grandpa asks me, what's so wrong with bees? Even my grandpa fattening up his dog triggers me emotionally because they're old and I know those old bones are in so much pain. Reading this sounds like mumbo jumbo, so sorry for the word vomit. I've just been sobbing for 30 minutes and I'm exhausted. That's the original post. I'm sorry if it's kind of hard for me to talk. The point on this channel is to try, though. So I think it's good practice to just upload this video regardless of how imperfect my speaking is, because the point is not perfection. It's to, I mean, similar to like this original poster, like the person who posted this, it's to scream and to cry into the void, essentially. And I don't like framing it like that, but that's kind of what it is. That's kind of what all of my content is. So someone replies, "Thank you for being a good person. We all have our ways of coping. Turn your feelings into actions and defend those who are voiceless without you." The poster responds with, "Thank you very much, still learning to cope. I think I will for the rest of my life, unfortunately." Lol. Somebody else says, "At some point, you have to find a way to turn it off. That doesn't mean give up, nor be callous, nor ignore it, nor avoid it, but it does mean limiting your exposure and considering your role." What I mean by this is, I have OCD, and I was diagnosed with it a while ago, and it's really difficult to control. You have to align many things in order to avoid the major triggers and help yourself be exposed to the smaller ones. I'm not saying exposure therapy. If anything, I think you're a little too overexposed right now. So I advise taking a step back where you can, and focusing on what you can control. What you eat, do, and focus on, and completely disregarding what you can't, like the way your grandpa feeds his dogs, etc. Something I like to do when it comes to dogs is give them vegan treats, by the way. That way, when your grandpa goes to feed them, you can say, "Oh, they already had the yummy bars I made them." And boom, that's one less animal being given products, like non-vegan products. But if he doesn't like this idea, again, that's out of your control. You can only do what you can do. Remember that. But aside from little things like that, you must accept that you cannot do everything. You will go insane trying to make everything be perfect and trying to avoid all the suffering. Oh my gosh. Yes. I do this exactly. I end up getting just so lost in the details of like everyday life and how to avoid exploitation. And it makes for complete overwhelm and complete chaos. It really does. But yeah, this poster finishes by saying, I was going to write more, but I have a splitting headache right now. But I just want you to know that you're not alone and that you can build up the strength to not be completely overwhelmed. It just takes time. So yeah, that is so true because pinpointing. So that's the post, the reply. But it's so true because pinpointing what we can do to make the world better, like, it's so important. And so like one of like I guess my values, and like I've been writing a lot about my values recently. But one of them is like having control, but a specific amount of control. So like the fullest possible control over our own lives. But then we also need to have a healthy amount of control over the problems that we see in the world. But it has to be a healthy amount. Because obviously trying to control too much is just going to result in tragedy. And I know that firsthand from experience. But you can control a lot. You can control a lot. It's amazing just how much you can control. Somebody else replies to the original post and says, I'm sorry you're going through this. It's heavy to feel this weight on you every day. Perhaps there may be feelings behind your sadness that need to be felt. For me, it was anger. The anger at the blindness of various people, and the anger at the system they exist in. Any bottled up emotion needs to be felt, and maybe allowing it is something that can help. You can set aside some time, and if it is needed, if it is indeed anger, you can chop wood, kick boxes, write unsent letters to people you don't get. Oh, sorry. The grammar. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can write unsent letters to people in your life, certain people. Art can be another outlet. Not necessarily high art, but making memes, um, etc., can provide that release. Art in general is really good. I mean, and this is me talking, but I saw some art recently. It was some vegan art. It was just like it was like this very loving and like beautiful depiction of like the farm animals, like like pigs, cows, and chickens, pigs, cow, chicken, and fish, like the main like fucking animals that get milked out of every last thing that they have to give. But yeah, I saw that art and it was just so beautiful, and it was just like it made me inspired to make similar art, just like beautiful depictions of like animals, and then I did make some of that, something like that. It wasn't perfect, but in this case, that's not the point at all. It's an outlet, like this person says. They continue to say, you can spend some time intentionally in positive news spaces. There are some YouTubers covering positive vegan news. Stay away from mainstream news, as that's just depressing in so many ways. Not just for vegans. While none of us is singularly responsible for saving every single animal out there, that's impossible, sadly, appreciate yourself for what you do. 6 years vegan is amazing. Think back to when you started, how the options have hopefully grown, and how by your choices you're contributing to this. Let go of responsibility of changing the world overnight by yourself. The bit you're doing is plenty. And this is me talking. Everybody in the world needs to know that. Exactly what that person just said. The little tiny insignificant puny like nothingness amount that you are doing right now, it's actually plenty. And that's kind of a perfect word to describe it as plenty. Like you're doing plenty. Because the biggest lie that we've ever been told as a society is, like, I don't know, pick your country, your continent, or your entire earth. And that amount of people, every last one of them has been told the exact same thing. And that is their actions as one individual among billions means nothing. Or very, very, very close to nothing. That idea is fucking cancer. So the poster continues to say, see if you can positively change perception of veganism in little ways. Say, offer vegan sweets. Make vegan cake for the office. Share a tasty vegan dinner with someone. Behavior change takes time, and one of those things that takes longest is challenging the ingrained stereotype. Again, you don't have to do everything, but a bit at home, bit at work, bit with non-vegan friends accumulates, and perhaps prepares ground for them to be ready to have a non-defensive conversation about veganism. Think of it as adding a brick to a wall. Maybe that wall be 1 meter by 5 meters. All you can do is add one brick at a time, and that's okay. Hope this helps a bit. Wishing you the best. In the description of this video, I should link to a spreadsheet that has some vegan creators. So check the description for that. And yeah, that's kind of the end of this thread. I wanted to just sort of give my comments on a couple things. So earlier today, I watched a video about it was sort of this tour of this dairy cow farm, and of course it was horrifying. But the guy who was kind of giving the tour, he seemed like quite actually passionate about his work, like outside of just the money that it could make, which, you know, I thought was shocking, right? Because I've been in sort of like a vegan echo chamber, if you will. But this guy, he explains, like, and I forget the word for their stomach, but he basically referred to cows not by the title cow or by the title beef. Beef is more traditional. I hate that personally, and I hated it like before I became vegan. But he referred to them like by their stomach, the type of stomach that they have that is so capable, he explains, of transitioning, like, you know, grass and shit into nutrients, like actual nutrients, which really just truly sums up the entirety of, like, the utility of, like, animals to people. It's for nutrients. It's for nutrients. It's also for taste, but I think primarily it is for nutrients. And so the point here is that there is a conversation to be had on all levels, on everywhere. There is a conversation to be had. It's not leftists versus Democrats, or are those the same thing? I don't really know the language because it's so fucking stupid, especially when the President of the United States earlier today, you know, started blaming Democrats. I don't know what that means. I mean, we have to focus on real enemies here, not just each other, right? But the point is, it's not left versus right. It's not the blue team versus the red team. It's not pro-abortion people versus... No, not pro-abortion. Pro-anti-abortion. It's not pro-anti-abortion people versus, like, versus women, right? Everybody cares about all the things, ideally. And so there is a conversation to be had. But nonetheless, even though it is very helpful to just engage critically with all sides of a conversation, even if it's very horrifying, we have to know that there's a reason for everything. But despite that, these people that I have just read their comments, these people are valid, entirely valid. And the reason that I know that they're valid is because they were born, right? So it's a birthright. It's a birthright, okay? To be valid. I might just be rambling for nothing right now, but what they say is valid. And that's why I read these stories. That's why I read these posts. I just want to like say that. It hardly even needs elaborating because everybody on all sides of the debate are pretty much valid, honestly. For me, the safer decision is to be vegan because we've seen evidence of animal abuse. Even if it's more one-off than like the industry standard, we've seen blatant abuse, which obviously nobody wants to support. Nobody wants to support a worker kicking a pig or some dumb shit like that, right? Some unfathomable shit that if you actually think about it, you will fall to your knees and cry because it's bullshit. And then you'll just have an existential crisis, and then you won't even want to get up in the morning. It's safer. That's why I'm doing this. It's safer. Because I don't want to support the exploitation of animals. That's what it comes down to for me. It's the safe bet, if you will. But unfortunately, there is a conversation to be had. Otherwise, everyone would just choose either being a vegan or not being a vegan. Right? It seems pretty split, and in reality, it seems like most people are not vegan, obviously. Just a moment, please. Yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about. But yeah, you are valid, and on my channel, I also encourage people. I mean, share stuff in the comments. Like, is there any insight that you want to share about this conversation? Like anything at all? Also, is there any art that you enjoy or have made that has saved your life? Because if so, I want to hear about it. You can leave a comment and then I'll look at it. So yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. I'll just end the video because this would be the point in the video where I sort of try to rant uselessly about something that I sort of already covered in the video. So, 18-minute video, pretty good. But yeah, thank you.